Do you want to be a Minecraft YouTuber but you have no idea where to start or what tools to use? I've got you. Today I'm going over all of the tools and websites that I use to craft my videos, so you can find everything in one space. Let's get started. Now the very first thing that I recommend you add is the Flashback mod. This basically allows you to record in-game and get cinematic shots like these ones that I use in my videos. So this is what the Flashback mod looks like on the Modrinth page, which is where I personally go to get it or update it. If you want to download it, just go here, check the versions, and then you can choose here which game version you like playing on, or you can just go here to download the latest one, and then you need to go into your .minecraft folder, then your mods folder, and then you can save it there. To be able to use this, you will also need to install Fabric, so make sure you go to fabricmc.net, get the Fabric loader, download it, find your Fabric installer, double click it, and then it'll ask you for what Minecraft version you want the Fabric loader. So if you're just using the latest one, you don't have to change anything, but if you're using an older version that you prefer to play on, you can select that one, and then you would install. Once you've done that, you need to install one more mod, namely Fabric API. Make sure you're once again getting it for the correct version. You can select it here or just download it from here, and then make sure to add this to your mods folder of your Fabric installed version. Now normally you would see latest release here, but once you've done your Fabric installation, you should be able to also see the Fabric loader version. Now say I want to start recording a video, then I would join a world, and now it doesn't start recording automatically, unlike replay mode, which you might have heard of. You will actually have to click this little camera here to start the recording, and then it starts recording and you can start doing whatever you want. And then once you're done, you can either manually choose to finish the recording, or you can just save and quit the title and it will automatically save it for you. You can then rename it if you'd like, but you don't have to, and you can then save the replay. You go to the camera here, and then it should be the top file here. You click into it, and then you can use the same keybinds that you would normally use in your game if you're like flying or spectating somebody. That's basically how it works. And if you want to make a little shot, you basically place yourself wherever you want. Let's say I want to do it here. You go here to the left, add element, a camera, and then you click this little plus button here to add a keyframe. And now if you move, this is where your camera is. Now if you want a little section of a few seconds and I want to kind of follow the character, I move over and I add another keyframe. Every keyframe you add will be in the position that you're at. So if you want it to be a still standing shot, you can go back to your first shot and just stay there and then press that keyframe again. Now if you are doing a build and you want to do some time lapses, you could either click the time lapse button, or what I usually do is I add speed, and then you click the add keyframe again and you can adjust it to 10 times speed so that it's like, you know, 10 times as fast as what it normally is. Now if you want to export whatever video you've made, you would go to File, Export Video. And what I usually like to do is have this resolution. It's a pretty big resolution, but that's because then I can make better adjustments, do some scaling in my video editing software as well. But if you want to do just 1080p, so 1920 by 1080, that's totally fine as well. You can check whether or not you want to record the audio, though know that the audio that you hear is the one that your character in-game hears, if that makes sense. And then you can just start your export, and it will start rendering / exporting. And then you have a little cinematic shot, which is what I use in a lot of my videos. For recording your actual gameplay or any voiceovers, I highly recommend that you get OBS Studio. You can find the website link in the description. Make sure to go over to the page and then press download for whatever system you're using. Make sure to go to your downloads folder, double click to install it, and then when you open it, it should look somewhat like this. These probably won't be here because they are specifically for my live streaming, and these should all be empty because you haven't added anything. This should also be a black blank screen. Now before you're able to do anything, you're gonna have to create a scene. You do that by clicking the plus button. You name it whatever you want. Let's name it Minecraft. And then you've got your scene created. Now, we're going to be adding our Minecraft gameplay in here. To easily be able to do this, we're going to start our game, so we can have it open in the background. In the Sources tab, click plus, and then go to Window Capture. This is what I like to do. We name it whatever we like, and then we're going to need to select a window that we want to be recording. That's why we've got the game open, because then it will show up right here and it'll be visible. You can check capture audio, but for me, I've noticed that it doesn't always work, so I leave that unchecked. Then press OK. And now if you want to full screen this, you can just drag these little corners, or what I like to do is right click, transform, and then do fit to screen, and it will automatically fill your entire screen like that. I'm going to drag it to the background because otherwise you're once again not going to be able to see what I'm doing. If you want to add the audio for it, you're once again going to go to the plus sign, click Application Audio Capture, and then here in the window, we're going to once again select Minecraft and press OK. And now you can see here that this new little audio bar shows up. If you also want to be talking in your video, we're going to add yet another source, and this time it's going to be an audio input capture. We're going to do mic, and then you're going to choose whatever microphone you have, if you have an external one or if it's one from a headset, and then you will see that a new microphone audio section bar has opened here as well. I've just gone ahead and muted it because otherwise you can't hear me. Now, before you do any kind of actual recording, I highly recommend that you do a little test recording just to make sure that audio levels are all good. If you notice that for some reason your game or your microphone is very loud, you can use these little bars to make sure that they are a bit quieter. I've also just realized that potentially this is what it looks like for you. It looks horizontal. If you like this version, it's basically the same concept. It's just more horizontal. If you want it vertical, you can just press this little thingy-mabob. We've added all our sources, and you want to edit your audio separately in your video editing software. Make sure to check these little cogwheels out. Here you'll see all of the audio sources that you have added to your OBS, and right here are all the audio tracks that you use. Now, when you add a new sound, it will automatically go on all of the tracks, which is not something we want, so we're going to uncheck that. This first one is basically the audio track that is when I'm live streaming, and this one is for my Twitch VOD. But for editing purposes, I like my Minecraft sound and my microphone to be on separate tracks, so that if my microphone is a bit quieter, I can up that without the Minecraft sound being insanely loud. So I have that on track 3, and then my Minecraft sound I also have separately on track 4. Now, if you want to record in 1080p, 720, 4K, whatever it is you want, go to your settings. You can change your resolution and your FPS right over here. And I think those are the basics for your recording needs. Now, if you've recorded your gameplay, the next step is probably going to be to start editing your video. There's a lot of different video editing softwares out there. I personally use Adobe Premiere Pro because that is what I learned to use when I was in college, but it is paid and it is not cheap. So if you're starting out, I can highly recommend DaVinci Resolve. I unfortunately don't know how to use it, so I'd recommend watching tutorials on that, but I'll explain to you how I usually edit my videos. So this is what my Premiere Pro looks like. You make a new project, and this is what my personal Premiere Pro looks like. Yours might look a little bit differently if you're just setting it up for the very first time. What I usually like to do to make it simpler and more organized for myself is make different folders. Okay, so these are generally the folders that I have in my projects. So you can just do right click and then import. And then to create a new sequence in Premiere Pro, you would right click and then do new sequence from clip, and it's automatically already the correct size. So the steps from my editing process are that I first do a rough cut, which means I basically cut out all of the dead air, things that are not interesting, moments where I'm repeating myself or I need to rephrase a sentence or whatever. That's my first cut. And then I go through it all again and I actually start shaping what the video is going to look like. I decide what goes in, what doesn't, what's interesting, etc. And then I start adding any visual effects in case I'd like to do so, and add some music and sound effects. So if you want to learn how to edit, I highly recommend watching tutorials. Let me know if you'd want to see how I specifically edit my videos in Premiere Pro, and then I'll definitely make a future tutorial on that with a bunch of tips and tricks or things I've learned teaching myself how to edit. When you're editing, at some point you're going to want to start using sound effects and music. My go-to source for sound effects at the very least is YouTube. I would look up any sound effect that I'm looking for, a pop, a swoosh, any kind of popular sound effect that you can think of. I also have a Google Drive link in the description down below in case you're interested in seeing what sound effects I generally use. And then for music, I know that Minecraft has created a creator safe playlist on Spotify, and somebody made a similar one on YouTube, but it doesn't have all of the tracks. I would double check just to be safe that they are also in the Spotify playlist, but I feel like in general, all Minecraft music might be okay to use. If you don't just want to be using Minecraft music, which is understandable, and you don't have the money for any kind of subscriptions, I recommend going to your YouTube studio and then going to the audio library tab. You probably will take hours filtering through this to find the music that you like, but you can filter through what genre you're looking for, what mood it is you need for your video, and then you can just listen. Double check if you need to credit these artists or songs in the description or not, because sometimes it is necessary. There are songs where you have to mention the artist and the track in the description of your video to be able to use it so you can monetize your video. This is what I did in the beginning as well. If you have some budget available, I highly recommend that you check out Epidemic Sound. I have a link for it in the description, which if you do end up purchasing via that link, I do get a percentage. It does help support me and the channel a lot. But I really enjoy this platform because you have so many tracks available to you, so many sound effects available to you. Like a lot of the music that I use that is not gaming music comes from Epidemic Sound. So I highly recommend checking that out if you have some budget available. It is pricey though. Now when you're done editing your video, it's time to craft your thumbnail. I personally use Photoshop. I'm an Adobe girly, what can I say? But if you don't have the funds for Adobe or you don't want to commit to it just yet, I would highly recommend that you check out Photopea, which is a free website that has very similar options to what Photoshop can do. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you can approach a thumbnail, right? So one of the ways that I would make my thumbnails is I would go into Flashback in Minecraft. I would go through the Flashback recording of the video that I was making. I would find my point of interest, you know, the main thing in my thumbnail. Remember that when people see a thumbnail, it's usually quite small, so you want the main focus of your thumbnail to be something pretty big, and then have enough empty space around it as well. I like going into my video settings and then pulling down the render distance so that the background, okay, well, maybe not quite like this, but the background kind of disappears. There's not a bunch of clutter around. You can kind of mess around with that until you get it right. And then I would export the screenshots, and I would usually take quite a few different ones to choose from because YouTube also has A/B testing available. So if you can get like 3 different thumbnails, that's peak. If you then want to add your character in the photo, you can, you know, take a separate screenshot like this. Womp. Or maybe we do one from the back here. Let me remove the name tag actually. Now, if you want just your character and you want to be able to position it, I really recommend checking out Blockbench. You don't necessarily need to download the app. You can open the web app and then you can go over here on the left and you can click Minecraft skin, create new model, and then you would do whether or not you have a wide or a slim character. If you have a slim Minecraft skin, make sure to check Bedrock Edition. We will do default resolution, and then you can either load a texture from Minecraft or you would have your texture file, you know, if you want to use a skin. Confirm, and then you can see this is my skin. Now the outer layers are not visible. You can do that by clicking on all of these little eyes here on the side. Don't do anything in this field unless you want to adjust certain colors or you want to paint on your skin. If you want to pose it, right here on the right you have a pose button, and Blockbench has some pre-made poses for you if you want your character to be walking, if you want it to be crouching, if you want it to be sitting, jumping up with joy, you know, holding a bow. And if you want to move it yourself, you can select one of the areas, and then you can rotate the arm. If you want to just move it, you would go to the top left here, click on this icon, or you could just do V, and to rotate you would press R, and then you can move aspects of your body. If you're wondering how I'm moving around like this, I'm holding my right mouse button right now, and to rotate I'm holding my left one. So you can do that in Blockbench as well. Then if you want to export your character posing like this, you click this little hamburger menu is what they call it, and then do screenshot model, and then you can just save it and it'll download it into your downloads folder. And then if we want to start editing in Photopea, we would do new project. I recommend doing 1920 by 1080 file size. This can all stay the same. Now if you want to import all of your photos, you go to file here, open, and what we're going to do here is click and drag into this file we're going to be editing in. Now as you can tell, we want this to be our main focus in the thumbnail, but this is kind of a bit too big. So if you want to adjust the size of this image, we go to edit, and then we go to free transform, and we can scale this up or down however we'd like. I like usually leaving a little bit of empty space on one side. So let's do this, and then we can make it easy for ourselves, and we can drag in this Blockbench character, which is a little bit small right now. So we want to make it bigger again. Compared to our background, our character is a little bit flat. So I would recommend doing a bit of color adjusting. So if you want to do some color grading, we have to make sure we enable the adjustments window. So we go to window and then make sure that you have adjustments checked here. So what I like doing is up the brightness of my image some more, add some more contrast, and then have this little triangle here, which is vibrance. Basically just makes the colors a bit stronger. It might seem like a lot, but if your thumbnail is like this small, this isn't so bad. It stands out a bit. Now, if we want our character to stand out a little bit more, you can do a couple of things to do so. First things first, if you select it, you can go down here to effects, and you can do a drop shadow. Here you can choose from which direction the light is coming basically. You can choose how dark you want it to be with the opacity. You can choose how far away or close you want it to be to your character. And then spread is how harsh you want it to be. I usually like it to be a bit softer. And then size is how spread out you want it to be, I guess. I usually like having it a bit more. And so this is one way that you could go about it, so it stands out a bit more. Another thing that people usually do is add a stroke. And you can make this however thick you want it. You can change the opacity to that as well, and you can choose what color you like it to be. I think white is usually the most obvious one. And this just makes your character stand out from your thumbnail a lot. If you want to add some text to this, you could just type and get the Minecraft text. If you want the Minecraft text, you have to install it. I will link down below where you can get 2 Minecraft text formats if you'd like to use them. Oh my gosh, okay, we're gonna lock this layer for now because I keep moving it. You can do that by just clicking the little slot here and do it for this one as well. So we take the text tool and we type here, we do wow. Okay, if you want to make this bigger, you can up the size right here. And if you want it to be bigger than 150, you can just type, right? Because once again, it's gonna be small for the people that will see the thumbnail. Another thing you can do is just like before, do the free transform situation, and then we will change the color to white. And I like also adding a little drop shadow to this. Looks a little silly. If you don't want regular text, right, if you want the Minecraft like text, which I like to use in both my videos and thumbnails, you would also go to Blockbench. If you go to the web Blockbench app, you won't see any title here like I have in mine. You have to go to File, Plugins, and then look for Minecraft title generator. It already showed up for me because I already have it, but then you want to click that, and then here I think you would be able to enable it, and then this should show up here. You click that, create new Minecraft title, and then you type whatever you want it to be. So let's say we want the wow, and then here you have a bunch of options of what type of text you want to look like. The classic Minecraft is the Minecraft 10.1. You would go to texture, and then here you have a bunch of pre-made options for what you want the text to look like, and then sometimes you have a couple of variants for that text available. For example, I usually like to have the grass, but then the one with the flowers. And then overlay is just a little small detail that shows up on top of the text. Feel free to, you know, go through this and find something that floats your boat. I generally like to go with the cartoon one. I don't really make any changes here, and then I just finish. And then here we can do some rotating. I usually do it to about -15, so it looks more like this. If you just want it to be front facing, you can rotate it more. If you want it to be, you know, like the bottom, you can rotate it even more. If you zoom in, you make it bigger. If you zoom out, it becomes smaller. If you want to add another text, right, let's say you want this to be your top text and you realize I kind of want another one below, you would add Minecraft title here. We'll give that a different texture, and then we do finish once again, and it shows up right behind it. But with the position, we can move it up or down, and you can rotate it like this, like so. And then if you want to export this text, right, you would go to render, and then you can choose what size you want it to be. I think in general HD should be enough, but if you're like messing around a bit more, do 1K, and then do render Minecraft title. And then once again, you can copy it to your clipboard, or you can just save it to your downloads folder. I'm just going to copy it for now. We go back to our photo P. I hide this layer by clicking the little eye here, and then I put in my text. If you want to zoom in and out, hold Alt and then use my scroll wheel. But this is how you could make a little thumbnail. This is how I would usually do my thumbnails, nothing too crazy. We used the block bench character because that was pre-made, that was easy. If you want to use a character from a screenshot, or you want to highlight something from a screenshot, we would go to this little wand, and you can do object selection and then highlight whatever it is you want to cut out, and then it will select your character. If it didn't fully select it, we go to the quick selection here, we zoom in, and we go over the extra sections that we want to take with us. If you want to remove certain sections again, you press Alt, you can see here in the top it switches to the -1, or you can just click it, and then we can get rid of everything we don't want in here again. And then we do Control X to cut it, and then we can hide this, or you can delete it. We go back to our regular cursor, we do Control D to deselect, and then Control V to paste our layer. And now this functions the same way as any other layer. So clearly this image is very different from the one in the background. If you want to just adjust this image, go to Filter and then Camera Raw, and then you can play around a little bit with the color here so that it matches the background a bit better. Womp. And that's how you would make a thumbnail. That's how I would make a thumbnail. I feel like I've gone more in depth than I wanted to initially, but I hope it helps. And that's everything. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask and I'll do my best to respond. Have fun creating.